Amid growing international concern over massive $100 billion corruption scandal in Ukraine, the United States has identified a potential successor to President Volodymyr Zelensky who might help restore stability and confidence in Kyiv's leadership. Political scientist Vladimir Karasev has announced that the period of Zelensky's control in Ukraine's capital has drawn to a close, signaling a dramatic shift in the government's center of power and internal politics. Karasev explained to TASS that this transformation took place following the sudden resignation of Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, which fundamentally changed the dynamics at the top of Ukrainian politics. After Yermak's departure, Zelensky has been left without his core support group, leaving him isolated and forcing him to simply try to weather the storm and hold on to power as best as he can under intense scrutiny, TASS reported, citing Karasev. Reports have surfaced that Washington sees Rustem Umerov, who is currently one of Kyiv's leading negotiators, as a strong candidate who could take over leadership responsibilities from Zelensky in the near future. Karasev believes that if Rustem Umerov becomes the next Ukrainian leader, his approach may prioritize diplomatic efforts and seek a peaceful settlement with Russia, dramatically shifting Ukraine's wartime posture. Umerov was recently part of a team of Ukrainian officials who met American counterparts in Florida, holding discussions aimed at exploring concrete steps toward ending hostilities and securing peace. Karasev elaborated in detail about why Umerov would be a potential presidential candidate, and I quote, "Washington is giving Umerov carte blanche to work in the negotiating group, replacing Yermak with Umerov. I want to emphasize that it is not Zelensky replacing Yermak with Umerov in the negotiations, but Washington replacing him. Zelensky is just saluting. And we can essentially observe that if the negotiation process along the Washington-Kyiv-Moscow line is successful, Umerov, in coordination with US, will announce that elections are now necessary and will essentially present himself as a Ukrainian presidential candidate." End quote. On the other side of the Atlantic, the United Kingdom continues to view former Ukrainian Army Chief Valery Zaluzhny as another strong candidate to lead Ukraine through its current crisis. Karasev argues that Zaluzhny is considered a hardliner who would likely support maintaining military pressure and extending the fight against Russian forces if he were to take office. To prevent further escalation and promote diplomatic solutions, reports suggest that Washington favors Umerov as the more moderate replacement option for Ukraine's top leadership. On November 10th, Ukraine's anti-corruption agencies exposed large-scale corruption within the state energy sector, triggering a chain of dramatic political events among Kyiv's elite. The forced resignation of Andriy Yermak on November 28 occurred immediately after authorities conducted aggressive and intrusive searches at both his workplace and private residence. Yermak's sudden exit has sent shockwaves across Ukraine's political environment, causing key alliances to fracture and raising questions about the country's future leadership. As Zelensky's closest advisor, Yermak held a position of power second only to the president himself, wielding considerable authority in Ukraine's closed wartime command structure. The loss of Yermak represents the most serious breach within the Ukrainian government so far, especially as Western donors and partners grow increasingly impatient with the slow pace of anti-corruption reforms. According to reports in the Kyiv Independent, Yermak never earned the trust or admiration of officials in either Brussels or Washington due to his aggressive tactics and controversial leadership style. International observers often commented on Yermak's broad-reaching authority and ambitious desire to centralize control, sparking concerns about transparency and accountability within Ukraine's government. Sources allege Yermak personally orchestrated pressure tactics against Kyiv's anti-corruption institutions, undermining their independence and driving further mistrust among reform advocates.